Friends, hello and welcome back. Almost having a lovely day. So, breaking major news. JT Miller finally out the door for the Vancouver Canucks, going back to New York. Now, there's been, a lot of talk, a lot of swirls, a lot of rumors about what's going on in that Vancouver locker room this season. Not playing the best puck. JT Miller not playing the best puck. Pettersson, him not getting along. What the situation is, I don't know. A nightmare, to say the very least, coming from a team that was on the verge of making a deep playoff run last season on the back of JT Miller, Elias Pettersson playing stellar puck. JT, a 106-point scorer last season, had a 103-point score, had an outstanding season, 99 points, 82 points, 32 plus goals each of the last seasons, 3 seasons. He has been stellar for the Vancouver Canucks, and unfortunately they have to move on from this man, and hopefully brighter roads ahead. Maybe that cleanses the situation in Vancouver, they start playing better puck. Maybe he goes to the Rangers and they start playing better puck. Maybe both sides win. Right now though, you wonder, 31 years old JT, a lot of time left on that contract. You wonder if the New York Rangers did the unthinkable and managed to trade and obtain a player for the entire duration of everything except for his prime. Seen that on interwebs earlier, thought that was hilarious because he was there until he was 23, didn't put up the numbers he has in Vancouver, comes to Vancouver and just goes absolutely off. And again, you wonder if he can come to the Rangers. I look at this trade and think, again, you don't want to trade a 100-point scorer ever if you're Vancouver. You want to keep these guys as long as you can, but you can see a path where both sides feel like they won this. When they're Rangers, you look at their roster. Panarin, I can't believe it, Panarin's got a year left after this season. I got a lot of guys in their 30s under contract for 3-4 more years. That is I want to call them like an end of a Blackhawks or an end of a Penguins or an end of the Red Wings, eras where they were so dominant and they were so good and their team just aged out. The reason we can't say that is because, the Rangers have had, no success compared to those teams, right? They've had good seasons, just nothing compared to what those teams are. But that's a good example. Just teams get older, and when you get older, you try to make these last-ditch efforts to bring in, even if they're a little bit older, even if they're on the other side of 30, you try to bring in these solid star players to try to boost your team, to try to get the most out of what you have left. You don't have a lot left unless you can continue to bring in new, free agents and continue to hit on the draft in the coming years. It's going to be tough because when you're a good team, you draft later anyway. So if you're the Rangers, you say, all right, let's try to squeeze in one final push here. We are also going to throw on Vancouver's 6th-round pick just because Dorrington's not in the NHL. He's an NCAA player, so he's not in this game. It was about a 6th-round draft pick he came for at the time. Nonetheless, sending this trade, not going to happen, of course. But again, Vancouver didn't have a choice, kind of move on from him, and that is the situation they find themselves in. Anyway, though, the reason we say that this can still, in a way, be a win for the Vancouver Canucks is because, hey, JT Miller's a power forward. Power forwards in the NHL, typically after 30, they start to see their game decline a lot. The exception, obviously, Alex frickin' Ovechkin, because that guy, the king of all power forwards. But for the most part, the reason, you see it after 30 is because they play a physical style of hockey. That's going to wear and tear on your body a lot more than somebody that's, laying 12 hits a season, right? And it just naturally, you're going to, the aches, the pains, the injuries, stuff's going to build up more, and it's going to be a lot harder for your body to kind of recover just because of that physical. That's just how it is. That's just, life, unfortunately. But, some guys find a way to get over it, and JT could be that guy. Or there's a situation where the Canucks could look back and say, wow, we was going to be paying JT all that money for, what was it, 6 years, so 5 more years. And he's putting up 60 points a season, 55 points. That was a lot. Could have spent that on a younger, talented player, right? But you never want to get rid of your stars if you don't have to, even if that's the situation, right? You never know when you're going to get more. You never know when. The Rangers are a prime example. They're a team that has built their team through free agency and trades. Panarin, not a guy. JT, not a guy. Zibanejad, been here, done that. Ottawa back in the day? Yeah, I was thinking Ottawa. Trocheck wasn't there. Riley Smith wasn't there. A lot of players, the New York effect. The Rangers have that ability. A lot of teams don't have that ability to go out and, just trade for any and everybody because they're New York. But they do. And a lot of teams that don't have that aren't that, that New York or that LA, it's hard. It's really hard to hit on a draft and you continuously rebuild a team. Look how long Buffalo's been trying to do it. So if you're the Canucks, it's like, as much as it hurts to let a guy like him go, then you'll have a choice. Thankfully, if you're Vancouver, though, you look and say, hey, they are a team that has done a really good job of slamming it and hitting it out of the park as far as free agents can go. Rangers right now, 7-7, much like the regular season right now. Rangers, a team very talented on paper. You wonder what was happening this season. Why was they struggling out the gate? Will JT Miller provide this team the boost? There's a reason this pick, first round draft picks, is protected, top 13 protected, because the Rangers are not 100% confident that they are making playoffs. And you know what? Be the Rangers, again, with your team getting older, Artemi Panarin's contract expiring soon, you want to make playoffs this season. But when you bring in a guy like JT Miller, a 100-point player, you do look and say, hey, at the very least, we have this guy under contract for, 4 or 5 more years, maybe longer. And if we can get the production out of him, anytime you have that kind of bruiser, that kind of producer on your team, you got a chance. And the Rangers, once again, making a big splash there. Vancouver hoping to come around with that first round draft pick, scoop up the next JT Miller. The Rangers looking like a playoff team. Never know what you're going to get out of these Sims. Right now, though, 36-26, looking to be a team to reckon with this season. Third place in the division, I was a stronghold, but no, not the strongest. 76 points right now. They would not be a wild card team before they're at. March is coming, and they may miss it. Rangers falling to pieces, end of the season. Hitting April, Rangers 40-33, 5th place in the division. They're going to have to pick it up and pick it up quickly, and it is not an easy schedule. Tampa twice, Florida once, Carolina, and look at this team running the gauntlet. Fighting their way into playoffs. They needed to play the Rangers. They needed to play Florida. They didn't play the Rangers. They needed to play Tampa twice. Florida, Carolina, in what felt like an impossible situation. The Rangers end up winning it. The Rangers end up making the playoffs, a 2-0 start against the Tampa Bay Lightning. This team is on fire. A team that just about missed the playoffs. This is what happens. They get hot. They go in there. They knock off the big dog. Rangers going to go to the second round. Going to play the Panthers. They was a wild card team. They did end up in the Atlantic side of things. And they are going to get torn. Ooh, coming back. I was going to say torn to pieces by the Florida Panthers. Panthers split the series. Heading to Game 7, and the Rangers going to lose that one 5-4. But the Rangers do find a way to make playoffs. They do find a way to make it to the second round. Obviously, you'd love to make a bigger run than that, but they did get there. Panarin 95 points, JT Miller 85. He produced as you would have hoped and expected. 37 goals, 48 assists. Adam Fox 73 points, plus 17 for JT Miller. Solid season. In net, Shesterkin 908, 294 goals against. About identical to what he's putting up right now, actually. Nonetheless, that is going. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look at Vancouver. Let's see how Vancouver did this season. Just take a quick little peek. Hey, how you looking, Vancouver? First in the division, 107 points. Apparently, JT Miller was holding the team down. 100 and actually, now we have to look. Is this team still in the playoffs? Imagine you move on. Now there's a limited. I was gonna say, imagine you move on. After all of that, nonetheless, though, that's going to wrap things up for this video. As always, if you all enjoyed the video, I appreciate you liking and subscribing. You never have to. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.